Drafted 22nd overall in the 2017 NHL entry draft, Kailer Yamamoto was coveted as the steal of the draft at the time. The Oilers faithful were pumped with this draft selection, as the last time they had picked at the 22nd slot, it was Jordan Eberle whose name was called. While right out of the gate things didn't necessarily go as planned, it wasn't until the 2019-20 season where he finally started to make his mark. He was called up in the first game of the calendar year. I remember this game very near and dear to me. I watched it with my dad. It was now that I'm thinking of it, it was the last game. It was on New Year's. I think it was freaking New Year's night. It was against the New York Rangers. It was, I think the score ended up being 7-5. Absolute great game. But anyway, let's continue. And although it was just an empty netter that he got, he never looked back. In the 27 games he had played in the second half of that season, Yamo put up a very respectable 26 points, 11 goals, and 15 assists. Everything was fine. And then
continued breaking news in the fallout from the coronavirus. All the Power 5 leagues that have canceled their men's basketball conference tournaments, the NHL, Major League Soccer, and reportedly MLB will be following suit.
When Rudy Gobert tested positive, that was a line that was drawn in the sand.
So, do I think COVID is to blame for his digression? Not necessarily, but I do think it for sure played a factor. Look, the Yamamoto, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins line, if I'm being honest, for as long as I've been an Oilers fan, there's been two lines that really stick out to me. It's Taylor Hall, Jordan Eberle, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. When that line was formed, they were actually clicking like really good, and super encouraging to see. Obviously, future was bright. That. Whatever, okay? And then there really hasn't been one dominant line ever since that until, some people, if you're new to the channel, the Edmonton Journal, if you guys have watched any of the Cult of Hockey podcasts with David Staples and Bruce McCurdy, they refer to it as the Dynamite line, Kailer Yamamoto, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Leon Draisaitl. They were on another level. The second half of that year, Nuge and Draisaitl were like 1 and 2 or 1 in like 3 in league scoring. That was also the year that Leon Draisaitl won the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Memorial Trophy. So things were clicking. The good game that really sticks out to me was, the one game against Nashville Predators. I referred to this in one of my last videos where Leon got the cool power play goal where he was, he ended up getting 4 goals that night, but one of them was set up by Kailer Yamamoto. I remember Kailer Yamamoto, that was also the one game where the Oilers just absolutely just destroyed that second half of that season. They absolutely dummied the Calgary Flames. It was Gaetan Haas with, I remember he had a penalty shot with like maybe 1 minute left on David Riddick, and he went 5-hole, so that was so sweet. But I remember Kailer Yamamoto, he got things started that night, and it was a sick goal. Everything was looking so good. The future was bright for Kailer. Everything was so good, but as you can see with the stats here, it never went back. It never went back to what it was. The 26 points in 27 games, okay? And obviously there are some injuries that have definitely played a part, which is super inconvenient. 2020, 2021, 52 games played, huge digression. He got 21 points. He had 5 more points and almost 20 less, he had 5 less points in 20 more games. So if you're looking at what I'm saying here, I'll show it down below. And then the next season, 21, 22. 81 games played, almost a full season. So not bad. He was able to put in a career high 41 points, 20 goals, 21 assists. I remember he was starting to shoot. He was actually starting to shoot quite a bit more on the second half of that season as well. And it's great. Everything's looking so good. His 1T was getting there. He was skating with the puck a lot more. And I made a video of it last year saying, he just got 41 points this year. He's going to start, he's going to start realizing that, I don't just have to rely on Connor or Leon. I can skate with the puck. I'm a good player. But this year, albeit 58 games played, he got 10 goals, 15 assists, 25 points. So again, another step back. And so it sucks. There's a lot of people saying, will we buy Kailer Yamamoto out? Will we, trade him? Honestly, if it's my decision, if I'm the GM, which I'm pretending to be right now, I'm not buying him out. I hate buyouts. I think they're so stupid. I think if you're buying players out, you're a fail. That's a huge fail. As a GM, you shouldn't ever. It looks bad. It's like you're pretty much admitting to a bad contract, and it sucks. So unless you're like Kenny Holland, where there's all these terrible contracts that were given to players before you arrived, then there's a little bit of an exception. But as for right now, man, I would not buy out Kailer Yamamoto. I would trade him. But at the end of the day, a buyout I think is a total fail. I would really, really, really love to trade this guy. I think we could get a decent amount for Kailer. I think if we traded maybe a pick, a prospect with Kailer, we could get a decent, a ready or like a really, really good asset to this team that we'd be able to use, further on into the playoffs. And, hopefully with some longevity, he's already signed. That would be a bonus. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts. Maybe I'll look into a video of, who I'd like to trade, who I'd like the Oilers to trade for Yamo. But as far as right now, I don't know a player really that if they could bolster the back end, get another defenseman with Kailer, I think that would be sweet. I like our offense. I don't think, especially with Dylan Holloway, he's going to be up and coming. Raphael Lavoie, there's some prospects that might be able to chip in next year, which I'm super looking forward to. So I don't think we need offense for Kailer. I think if we could get a decent right shot defenseman, maybe a lefty, that would be huge, and that would be ideal. So does it suck? Yeah, obviously it sucks. Does Yamo have huge upside? I totally think he does. I don't think his 20 goals, 21 assists was fluke that he got last season. I don't think that was a fluke. And you see it. He's a really good role guy. Believe it or not, he's a really good role guy. The guys love him in the locker room. You need a guy like Kailer. He brings so much to the team. His energy, his tenacity. He's just so, he can be pretty aggressive too. He's always on the puck. He's always, it sucks. It sucks we're at this with Kailer right now. If it doesn't end up being where he's an Oiler, for the next few years, that is too bad, right? Because you draft these players to obviously have them be on your team. And, if this is what it's come to be, yeah, that kind of sucks. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts, as always, guys, in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Sound like a voice crack there. If you guys are new to the channel, as always, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, it's tough. The Kailer, I definitely think, and there is upside. The one thing I didn't touch on is, yeah, his size, he's obviously a little guy. Connor even called him that in his, post, or one of the post-game presses that he did. He says, yeah, I think it's the little guy here. He came up clutch. But, that's the thing. We really see his size, hinder his game definitely in the playoffs, right? It was far... It was pretty bad. He had the worst plus minus in the playoffs this year for the Oilers, which, that really sucks, and it's too bad. And I think at the end of the day, the size might not matter nearly as much in the regular season. It doesn't, but playoffs, everything's more intense, right? You're checking harder, you're skating harder, the hits are faster, everything, right? So everyone's just playing more physical, and it really does hinder Kailer's game. It really does take a toll on him. So it's unfortunate. This is where we're at. I'm making this video. I'm not happy about it. If I could find a way to, sign him cheap, or just keep him cheap, we just what we're paying him and for what he's given us, we're not getting really good bang for your buck right now. But that's all I got for this one, guys. So if you're new to the channel, like I said, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. The support is amazing, and I really appreciate it, guys. So if you enjoyed this one, thank you. Take her easy. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Holy fuck, Ricky.